the heart of a certain part of Southwest Detroit with some people you know or you heard of.
You know, I went to control some hustle. You know what's that.
So here on this little side street in Southwest Detroit, cars could pull up and they get a little pack stamped. Hard time.
Not just in the street, this area. This time, okay, 83. I had to be in 20.
So you were kind of doing like what YBI was doing in other parts of the city.
Exactly. But we had apartment buildings. You know,
just so people know, Jordan and Quincy was one of the original YBI.
But it was a front for my uncle Clarence's book and shit. I wasn't no scary motherfucker, man. You talking fast and you talking that old New York shit. Yeah, I said, yeah, that's where I was raised at. Okay, so I'm going off on my own. So I took my shit and went out came out here to Southwest Detroit and
Rams for $35 basically.
Back then,
and all these places were stamped hard times, whether it was down the street or at the top.
Meech was the first person I put down, and then we brought Terry and Derek on later because the shit was so overwhelming.
When we first started meeting Demetrius and Terry, we grew up together. So one day they came to me because we was best friends, and then when I met him, it was like a new beginning of life. Well, it's like this because we didn't know nothing about hustling and nothing like that, and Edrick was the one. He was a guy that we had never seen before, like, that had the chain on with the diamonds on and all that. Up close and personal, he was different.
Or you meet Meech, and had you already been thinking about the 50 Boys idea, or when you were talking to him, you thought, I can put these young guys on?
So I said, damn, I knew what I could do. Okay, so Meech want to do this. I put him in charge of those 50s.
Everybody out here was selling like powder, but Edrick had like a gimmick to where he can break his stuff down and bring them to 50 rock. When he brought the heart out here, it like took off because our 50 rocks are so big that instead of like buying an 8-ball, you could take a 50 rock and cut it down and make more what you make off an 8-ball.
When you come in strong like that, and you come in, I brought these guys from the whole, they wasn't from East Coast and all, you gonna have beefs. Motherfuckers ain't gonna like you because what you basically doing, you just taking over all they shit. You know what I'm saying? They start coming, the motherfuckers that was on the corner selling dimes, 20 nickels, they start coming it up and getting the 50s, cutting it up. So the beef came along with the territory, and for all the thousands that they was making a day in 50s, you gonna have haters, okay?
So when you come into a street game like this, it's either be killed or you had to go for what you know. So our heart was, we're gonna ride or die. We had mink coats that when we would go to the mall and they would shut the mall down.
I took a liking to these guys so much that they got chased by the police so much, told my wife's brand new Trans Am up.
Before the BMF came out, the 50 Boys rooted that. I mean, you had to start with something like, if you start a car company, your first car is what makes the company, when they get like billions of dollars later, we the first car. BMF is the greatest show on earth, but don't forget the 50 Boys, especially Edrick and Derek, because we the real ones.